Let's set up. So, job's done. Now let's start with the setup. Shuffle the 64 building and mob tiles and divide them into 16 face down stacks of 4 tiles each. Lay them out in a 4x4 grid with enough space between the rows for our game pieces to move between them. Let's go to the next step. Now we have to shovel the 16 colorless weapon token and place one face down as the ends of each column and row to form a 6x6 grid. Of course, leave the corners empty. These are our weapons areas which we can gain and collect some weapons later. Now it's time for the materials. Place the block base next to the grid and easy reach for all players. Assemble the support structure and place it on the block base. Then fill it with the 64 blocks, 16 wood, 14 sand, 12 stone, 10 obsidian, and 12 emerald in random order. Gently shake until the blocks form a big cube. Then remove the support structure by lifting it up on its flaps. So, next step is each player choose a color, red, blue, yellow or green, and then taste the player's board and game materials of the same color. The game materials include 1 game piece base, 1 experience counter, and 5 colored weapon tokens, 1 stone sword, 1 wooden sword, and 3 poisonous potatoes. These are the best potatoes out there, isn't it? Ha 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 ha. Delicious potatoes. Then we have to start. Choose the player's skin, character appearance, and push it into our game piece base. This is our character. Place it on the central crossing of the card grid. Then shuffle our 5 weapon token and put them in a face down pile. Place our experience counter on space O of the experience points track that runs along the edges of our player board. We can customize our character by painting the 4 blank skins or by putting our own stickers on it. Then we are nearly ready to have fun with that game. So, then place one set of the overview cards. Turn actions, scoring A, scoring B, scoring C, between the players 1 and 2, and the other set between players 3 and 4. Then we are ready to have fun with that card game. Oh, the players who most recently found a diamond in Minecraft is the starting player. When in doubt, the youngest player will begin. During our turn, we must choose and perform 2 different actions. We cannot perform the same actions twice. Once we have taken our actions, the prey proceeds to the left. During the game, there's 3 scoring rounds. The player with the most experience points after the 3rd scoring rounds is the winner. Then the same crossing can be occupied by multiple characters. During the course of the game, card stacks might be fully deployed or weapons token collected. We still move our characters along the path between the stacks, even if those stacks are empty. Let's go to the actions. Collect blocks. Take 2 blocks from the big cube. Blocks, these are materials, can only be collected if their top side plus at least 2 more sides are exposed. As long as these conditions are met, we are free to choose any block from any layer and from any side of the big cube. Add the blocks to our personal supply next to our player board. The green emerald blocks are wild cards. Use them instead of other blocks when building a structure. Feel free to rotate the block base. This allows us to look at the big cube from all sides and find the blocks we need for our structures. Because we will need blocks for build or buy structures, and this is a big thing to score in that game. Let's explore the overworld. First, we can move our character 0, 1, or 2 spaces. Spaces are the crossing points in the grid of card stacks and weapon tokens. Never place our character on a card or token. Next, reveal the top cards of the 4 corner stacks around our position. If some of them have already been turned face up, leave them revealed. Easy, isn't it? So, we can travel 2, 1, or 0 steps each round. And then we can explore the 4 areas around us. There can be buildings, there can be monsters, or there can be weapons on the edges of the playground or of the overworld. These are one of the actions you can choose. And of course, this is a nice action to explore the overworld. One of the actions are built. To build a structure, our character must be next to the corresponding building card on the grid. The blocks needed to build a structure are shown in the bottom right corner of the card. We must possess the necessary materials to build that structure. Return the blocks from our personal supply to the game box, and a green emerald block can be used to replace any other block. Take the building card from the grid and place it on any space on our player board. Some structures need a lot of blocks and have an extra icon in the top right corner of the card. Whenever we build such a structure, we are getting immediately that many experience points what is the card is showing on the upper right side. We move our experience counter that many spaces on our experience point track. Buildings can be built in any biome, environment type. For example, we don't have to place a forest building on a forest space. On the contrary, to gain more experience points doing scoring, we may want to place a structure next to spaces and or cards that share a characteristics. For example, the same biome. We may build over existing structures. Simply place the new structure over a building card we no longer need it. This is the building options. This is one of the possibilities in one round for you, or us, or every player in that game. Oh yeah. The next big option is fight 'em up. Not every card in the grid is a building. Some of them are dangerous mobs. These are monsters. If our characters next to lead the mob card, we can attempt to defeat it. To fight a mob, shuffle our face down pile of weapons tokens and reveal 3 tokens. Count the numbers of revealed hearts and compare the sum to the number of hearts on the mob card. Poisonous potatoes have no hearts and count as blanks. Oh no! If we relieved at least as many hearts as shown on the mob card, we defeat the mob. Remove the mob card from the grid and place it next to your player board. We immediately gain the number of experience points printed next to the flash symbol on the mob card. If we relieved a low number of hearts, the mob stays where it is. Put defeat mobs face down next to your played board. And there are two kinds of mobs. A mob card with a flash icon on the left upper side can be traded into gain one additional action during one of our turns. To do this, when it's our turn, execute your two different actions as usual. Then return as many mob cards with this icon as we like from our personal supply back into the game box. For each returned mob card, we may execute an additional action of our choice this turn, as opposite of a normal turn. We are permitted to execute an action that we have already executed earlier in the same turn. And mob cards with on the left upper side there is an time glass and biome painted on. This is an icons are kept until the end of the game, when they will gain as additional experience points for all spaces with matching characteristics on our player board. For example, the mob with a tree icon and a 2. That means that this icon will gain us 2 experience points for each forest at the end of the game. Not right now, but later. This is a good thing for scoring. The next option is collect a weapon. To collect a weapon token, our character must be next to it. Shuffle it into our pile of weapon tokens. We may look at our weapon token at any time, such as when checking to see if we have a chance of vanquishing a mob. Make sure to shuffle our pile after looking at the tokens, of course. There are weapons with special abilities. The bow, for example. During a fight, whenever we reveal a bow, we may immediately reveal one additional weapon token. If we own more than one bow, we have a chance to reveal 4, 5, or 6 even tokens during a fight. Awesome thing, isn't it? Then we can have a golden hoe. During a fight, whenever we reveal a golden hoe, we immediately gain 2 experience points. And stone pickaxe. During a fight, whenever we reveal a stone pickaxe, we may immediately collect 1 block from the big cube. We still have to follow the rules for collecting blocks too. Important. And there is TNT. Oh, TNT is hard. During a fight, after revealing our weapons, if we reveal the TNT token, we can choose to detonate it. If we do, count the 5 hearts on the TNT. Detonates TNT is removed from the game. So we have to put it back into the box. Otherwise, ignore the hearts. We can get to keep the TNT until we can use it, or we are going to use it later. Let's perform the scoring process. The first scoring round, A. Biomes, happens when any player completely mines the first layer of blocks of the big cube. It doesn't matter if any blocks from deeper layers have been collected. After collecting the final block of the first layer, the players complete their turns as usual. Scoring starts after they have finished executing their actions. The second scoring round for materials, B, happens when any player completely mines the second layer of the blocks of the big cube. And of course, this third scoring round is C-type. Happens when any player completely mines the third layer of the blocks of the big cube. Then the game ends, even if there are still blocks left in the bottom layer of the big cube too. If we own any mob card that grants our additional actions, feel free to use them in the same turn in which we trigger the scoring round. Scoring starts only after we have executed all our actions and finished our turn. It is possible to deplete multiple layers during the same turn by collecting multiple blocks. For example, by revealing the stone pickaxe during the mob fight or by trading in a mob card for an additional action. In that case, after finishing our turn, all triggered scoring rounds happens one by one in the usual order A, B, and C. And this is the awesome scoring process, or start the scoring process, baby. The player who just finished their turn goes first. Then we choose exactly one of the 4 characteristics on the current scoring card to gain experience points in that characteristics. First thing, in the first scoring round, that means biomes, we choose exactly one biome: forest, desert, mountain, or snowy tundra. One of our player board identified the largest group of connected spaces that share these characteristics. For each space in the ground, we can gain the number of experience points printed next to the characteristics on the scoring card. Diagonal spaces do not count as connected. For the first scoring round, biomes additional of the biomics on our building cards also count. Biomes printed on our player board is visible. We may also choose a single space group. For example, we could gain 6 experience points for a single snowy tundra space on our player board. Each building card lists its characteristics as icons on its left margin. The top icon shows the biome, scoring A, followed by materials in the middle, scoring B, and type on the bottom, scoring C. So, we can choose what we want, but take care, it should be gives you a much of experience because you are going to win this round, or isn't it? So take care, look at the biomes. It is possible to score different points because of the different biomes. Not so good as the wooden biomes. The best thing is the tundra. But if you have more wooden biomes than tundra, maybe if you add them, it is more than tundra. And you can score. This is scoring process. Step A. This is the first step to win that game. When we are done calculating our experience points, add them to our existing points on the experience point track on our player board by moving our experience counter that many spaces forward. Then the next player in turn orders scores a biome of their choice. Once every player has scored, returns his scoring card to the box for the next scoring. We will need the next scoring card. This is number B, or letter B, materials. That's awesome. During scoring, do not remove any structures we build or the blocks in our supply. We get to keep them. Start planning from the next scoring round and build structures accordingly. Now it's time for the second scoring round. We either choose wood, sand, stone, or obsidian. We score the biggest counts group of structures matching that material. The biomes no longer matter. Ignore them. For example, we have different types of scoring things now. These are the materials. The materials are shown on the scoring card and of course on our structure cards. And the materials are in the middle on the left side. it is possible to get a different materials on it: wood, sand, obsidian, or stone. And then it's like the same in scoring step A. You can choose groups of them and then add the experience points at the end of the scoring to yourself. That's awesome, isn't it? It's the same thing, but it's now the second layer to collect and to check to get more experience. The third scoring, C-type. We have to follow the same rules. Select the largest continuous group of structures of a particle type: decoration, dwelling, animal house, or bridge. For this, you have the scoring card number 3. And then you can choose these again, like before, to get more experience. And more experience is the best way to win that game. Of course, you can only choose one of the decoration, dwelling, animal house, or bridge options. And then I hope you have a lot of them in one line. Then you can score easily. That's not the entire end of the game. There's more options to get the reward. The game ends after the third scoring round, of course. Now it's time to score each mob in our collection with icons. Where is a sand class, a number, and a biome, or other things. That's really awesome. Okay? We gain that many experience points for each space on our player board with that characteristics, as opposed to the scoring rounds ABC, and the mob cards count all spaces of the characteristic. The space don't have to be connected. This is new. After each player has scored their mobs, compare our experience points. The player with the most experience points is the winner. If there is a tie, the player with the most blocks in their supply wins the game. If there is still a tie, the tied players all win, of course. That's the best way. So, you have mobs. On the left upper side, you can see a biome, for example, and an experience card. And if all the biomes on your scoring card will now give you this letter of, in this case, 3 skill points. Or, for example, you have not a biome on it, maybe you have a material on it, or you have an animal house, or etc., whatever. Then you have to look on your board, and then you can collect the skills. Really awesome, isn't it? That's complex, but it's really awesome to make a good long game. Of course, you can use a variant for beginners. If you are playing from the first time or with kids, there's a great way to simplify the 3 scoring rounds. Instead of counting the largest continuous group, just count all spaces matching that 30 on our player board. That means less playing ahead, since we can place the building cards on any space of our played board. But this is only for beginners. And you out there are skiller, isn't it? And this variation can be combined with the normal game too. For example, allows the kids to score by the simplified routes, while grown-up scores by the normal routes. This is how to play Minecraft Builders and Biomes. That's an awesome game by Ravensburger. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe me and give me a positive feedback, and I hope to see you again on my channel. Soon.